Economies. What is economics? Economics is a social science that studies how individuals, businesses, and governments make choices about allocating scarce resources to satisfy unlimited wants and needs. It's fundamentally about understanding decision-making in the face of scarcity. Key aspects of economics include scarcity, the basic economic problem that human wants and needs exceed the available resources, land, labor, capital, entrepreneurship, to satisfy them. This forces choices. Choice and opportunity cost. Every decision involves choosing one option over others, and the opportunity cost is the value of the next best alternative foregone. Production, distribution, and consumption. Economics analyzes how goods and services are created, how they are made available to people, and how people use them. Microeconomics focuses on the behavior of individual economic units, such as households, firms, and individual markets. It examines how prices are determined, how consumers make buying decisions, and how firms decide what to produce. Macroeconomics studies the economy as a whole, looking at aggregate phenomena like national income, unemployment, inflation, economic growth, and government fiscal and monetary policies. What is economy? An economy refers to the actual system or framework within a specific geographical area, e.g., a country, region, or even a local community, that organizes the production, distribution, and consumption of goods and services. It's the practical, real-world manifestation of economic activity. Key aspects of an economy include interactions. It encompasses the millions of interactions between individuals, businesses, and governments as they produce, buy, and sell. Resources. It involves the utilization of available resources, natural resources, human capital, physical capital, within that system. Performance measures. The health and size of an economy are often measured by indicators like gross domestic product, GDP, inflation rates, and unemployment rates. Key difference between economics and economy. The core distinction is that economics is the academic discipline, the study, the theory. It's the theoretical framework and analytical tools used to understand how economic systems function, predict economic behavior, and formulate policies. Economy is the practical system, the reality, the machine itself. It's the tangible network of economic activities and relationships that exist in a given place and time. Think of it like this. Economics is the textbook on how a car works, explaining the principles of combustion, mechanics, and design. The economy is the actual car itself, running on the road, consuming fuel, and transporting people. Types of economy, economic systems. Economic systems are the different ways societies organize their economic activities to address the fundamental questions of what to produce, how to produce, and for whom to produce. Here, we'll focus on capitalism, socialism, and mixed economies. 1. Capitalism, market economy. Definition. An economic system characterized by private ownership of the means of production, where economic decisions are largely driven by market forces, supply and demand, and the pursuit of profit, with minimal government intervention. Characteristics. Private ownership of resources. Most land, capital, and businesses are owned by private individuals and corporations, not the government. Freedom of enterprise and choice. Individuals are free to start businesses, produce goods, and choose what to consume. Workers are free to choose their jobs. Competition. Multiple producers compete for consumer business, leading to innovation, efficiency, and often lower prices. Profit motive. The primary driver for individuals and businesses is to maximize their own economic gain. Price mechanism. Prices are determined by the interaction of supply and demand in markets, acting as signals for producers and consumers. Limited government intervention. The government's role is generally restricted to protecting property rights, enforcing contracts, providing public goods, like national defense, and addressing market failures. Examples. The United States, while having significant mixed elements, is largely considered a capitalist economy. Hong Kong and Singapore are often cited as examples of relatively free market capitalist economies. Unknown facts. The concept of laissez-faire, meaning let do in French, is often associated with pure capitalism, advocating for virtually no government interference. However, pure capitalism is a theoretical ideal, and no country operates without some level of government involvement. Adam Smith's invisible hand theory describes how individual self-interest in a free market can lead to collective societal benefits, even without conscious coordination. 2. Socialism. Command-planned economy. Definition. An economic system where the means of production are primarily owned and controlled by the community as a whole, typically through the government. Economic decisions are made by a central planning authority to achieve social and economic equality. Characteristics. Public/collective ownership of resources. Major industries, land and capital are owned by the state or by collectives, rather than private individuals. Central economic planning. A central authority, government, determines what goods and services are produced, how they are produced, and who receives them, often based on long-term plans. Emphasis on equality and social welfare. Aims to reduce income disparities, provide universal access to essential services, healthcare, education, housing, and ensure a safety net for all citizens. Limited consumer choice. Production is based on the central plan, which may limit the variety and availability of consumer goods compared to market economies. Less competition. State-owned enterprises often operate as monopolies or with limited competition. Extensive government role. The government plays a dominant role in all aspects of economic life. Examples. The former Soviet Union, North Korea and Cuba today exhibit strong elements of command socialist economies. Many Scandinavian countries, like Sweden, Norway, Denmark, often implement strong social welfare programs and state-owned enterprises, leading some to describe them as democratic socialist or having strong socialist characteristics within a mixed economy. Unknown facts. Pure socialism aims for a classless society where wealth is distributed equally, often through the principle of from each according to his ability, to each according to his needs. Historically, command economies have often faced challenges with efficiency, innovation, and responding to consumer preferences due to a lack of market signals and incentives. 3. Mixed economy. Definition. An economic system that combines elements of both capitalism and socialism. It allows for private enterprise and market forces but also involves significant government intervention and regulation to achieve social goals and correct market failures. Characteristics. Coexistence of public and private sectors. Both private businesses and state-owned enterprises operate. The private sector is dominant in many areas, while the government often controls essential services, infrastructure, or strategic industries. Market-driven with government regulation. Prices are largely determined by supply and demand, but the government intervenes through regulations, subsidies, taxes, and social welfare programs. Social safety nets. Governments typically provide social security, unemployment benefits, public health care, and education to ensure a basic standard of living. Correction of market failures. Government intervention aims to address issues like monopolies, environmental pollution, and income inequality that free markets might not solve efficiently. Pragmatic approach. Seeks to combine the efficiency and innovation of market economies with the equity and social stability goals of planned economies. Examples. India. A classic example, with a history of state-led development post-independence, gradually liberalizing to embrace more market-oriented policies while retaining significant government involvement in sectors like railways, defense, and public healthcare. United States. While predominantly capitalist, it has government regulation, e.g., environmental laws, labor laws, social security, Medicare, and public education, making it a mixed economy. United Kingdom, Germany, France, Canada. Most developed nations operate under some form of a mixed economic system. Unknown facts. The term mixed economy became popular after World War II, as many countries sought a middle ground between pure capitalism and pure socialism. The exact mix varies widely from country to country, reflecting different historical paths, political ideologies, and societal priorities. There's a continuous debate about the optimal level and nature of government intervention in a mixed economy.